So much for who would build the roads in an anarchist society. What about all the people that would lose their jobs when we shut down Detroit? Well, they could build monorails, they could build bullet trains, they could build a national or even an international sewage system for the disposal of industrial wastes. And people say, well, you know, it takes a government to maintain a sewer. And I say, well, yeah, as I remember, Norton on the Honeymooners was a sewer worker, and he was a government employee. I even remember the anthem he used to sing. You know, we sing the song of the sewer, we sing the sewer's song, united we stand, shovel in hand, to keep things rolling along. And what about libraries and schools and fire departments and post offices and lighthouses? You know what a lighthouse is, don't you? That Ambrose Bierce did. He said it was a high building by the sea in which the government maintains a lamp and the friend of a politician. Somebody once said to the anarchist attorney in Boston in the last century, Lysander Spooner, who would run the post office if in an anarchist society? The post office loses money every year. And Spooner said, he says, a private post office could make money. It would just have to be run more efficiently. And the guy says, bullshit. Spooner says, I'll make you a bet. So they make a bet. So Spooner starts the American Letter Mail Company. And he's making twice as many deliveries a day as the government post office, which in those days I think used to make 2, or he's making at least 1 more delivery. He's selling stamps cheaper than they are, and he's making a profit. It took an act of Congress to drive Lysander Spooner out of business. They passed a law that made it illegal to deliver a first-class letter for profit solely to drive Spooner out of business, solely to shut him down. And you can see their point. You know, who wants an anarchist delivering the mail? You might send a letter to Aunt Sally and it would reach Uncle George instead, because as everybody knows, anarchists are disorganized and chaotic. I'm an anarchist and I'm disorganized and chaotic. That's because I'm a Discordian, though, not because I'm an anarchist. The difference between governmental organization and non-governmental organization is that governmental organization is primitive and non-governmental organization is not. When Og picked up a club and menaced Ugg with it at the beginning of time and told Ugg that Ugg's brains would be bashed out if Ugg didn't do what Og wanted or refrained from doing what Og didn't want, the first government was born. And government has been based on that principle ever since. Whereas a higher type of social organization, you don't menace somebody with a club. You negotiate a contract with them. Government is primitive. But a higher type of social organization, I'm told, would require a higher type of human being. Because people in their present state of evolution cannot be trusted enough to form a stateless society. And I say, if people cannot be trusted, then do not delegate power to them. Because as Lord Acton said, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. If people cannot be trusted, that's an argument against government, not an argument for government. That's an argument against giving some people power over everybody else. It's an argument for keeping everybody equally powerless. Then, of course, they go into stuff like, will it work? Well, the thing is, what we've got now isn't working. And it's like the word politician. You know, does that conjure up connotations of trust? You know, does the word bureaucracy conjure up connotations of order? And then I go into my closing about explore the anarchist alternative, and I tell them to read quotations from the Anarchists or What is Communist Anarchism by Alexander Berkman, or instead of a book by Benjamin Tucker, or to read Emma Goldman or Kropotkin or Malatesta or Bakunin, or to read Eric Frank Russell or James P. Hogan. But anyway, this is Guy in Little 5 Points who's an anarchist, and one day we're sitting in Roger's restaurant, and he's sitting beside me, and he's saying, you know, a lot of times I loan people my anarchist books and I never get them back. He says, that used to piss me off. He says, and then one day I got to thinking about it. And he says, you know, if they keep that book long enough, they're just liable to read it. And if they read it, they just might become anarchists. And if they become anarchists, they're going to lay awake nights and rage, fuming over the inefficiency and idiocy of the present system for the rest of their lives. And he says, and that's going to serve them right for not bringing me my book back. You have nothing to lose but your peace of mind.